Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm talking about Mars opposite to Neptune in Synastry. So this aspect is maybe my favorite out of the Mars-Neptune aspects. It doesn't tend to manifest as negatively as the other hard aspects, although it definitely can. It just doesn't always seem to. Um, it can show that two people feel like they have found their dream partner in the sexual sense. It doesn't really show love necessarily on its own, or it doesn't show compatibility, but in an otherwise healthy synastry with some good compatibility and some loving aspects, this adds a level of romanticism to the sexual expression of a couple that can be really nice and really unbeatable. It tends to create this feeling of, yeah, that we have found our match in that sense. And so when we see someone with this aspect, you want to really just be clear on things though, because it's still probably just as much as the conjunction or the square, we're still kind of in a Neptunian fog. So Neptune in synastry does, well, and in the natal chart too, does have this tendency to kind of drug us or put us under the influence. So you need not drink alcohol or do any drugs. You just have some Mars Neptune synastry. And you will be, in a sense, in this kind of a fog. Now, the Mars person is generally, if someone is going to get hurt, it usually, the Mars person can find the Neptune's actions to be unstable or unavailable or confusing, or like they just can't put their finger on it. And they want to go after Neptune in a direct way. And sometimes they're going to feel like Neptune is not really there, or, how do they really feel? They can feel confused by Neptune's actions. But Neptune usually in this case, and actually in Mars Neptune synastry in general, does feel very attracted to Mars and very connected to them. They look up to Mars. They feel like Mars is like an expression of masculinity or directness, or even like power and strength. Like they can feel protected by Mars. They can feel like that they really can feel safe with Mars because they know Mars is going to take action. Where they evade responsibility or action, Mars is there to take that on. But they can still, like all the other Mars Neptune aspects, feel like Mars is a bit harsh at times, or but in the opposition, it's funny that they like it more. Because on one level, they do feel like Mars is their missing piece. And that's the uniqueness of the opposition aspect, is that we can feel like we have found that missing puzzle piece. And with Mars Neptune, it's like the mix of physicality Mars, sexuality Mars, and romanticism and escapism and the dream of Neptune. So we found this magical fairy tale physical bond, and we can really feel like it's the one, and it's definitely the one that we have some interest in, right? Whether or not the rest of the chart shows compatibility or love and other harmonies, we're not sure with just this one aspect, but it definitely gets people interested. This aspect and this aspect in the composite chart also, it's really a high level of, yeah, like a kind of like a tantric or sexual energy that is really unbeatable. But it can definitely create some confusion and uncertainty, and it can be more of an off on sort of energy with the opposition, where we're really, really hot and connected, and then we're really, really not. Now, in other types of relationship, we can still see that there's a romanticism over each other. We're still going to see that. Like the Neptune person can idolize the Mars person's assertion, aggression, energy, and feel like they're just like they're it, like they are the man, right? Or the woman or whatever. It's not exclusive to sex, right? But they just really can idolize their expression of their Mars. And the Mars person can feel like Neptune is just like the dream woman or the dream man, and they can feel like, wow, they're so artistic, they're so creative, they're so like encompassing of unconditional love, and they want it, they want some of that. And the reactions with the opposition are very strong. Like it's quite noticeable. It's one of these aspects that, it does get people interested in relating in any type of way. And so in a non-romantic relationship though, yeah, we still have that level of romanticism and confusion. Even, we can probably have some business deals gone wrong with the Neptune Mars aspect, because we have the action of Mars with the confusion of Neptune. And so we just want to be truthful, right? With all Neptune aspects, you could save yourself a lot of hurt and trouble if you just tell the truth. But for some reason, when we have Neptune, right? Neptune is not a straightforward energy. Neptune wants to be all things to all people. So why tell the truth when you can just tell a little white lie that will make someone feel better, right? That can be what can happen with Neptune connections. It's not usually done out of, actual, malice, right? It's done out of just wanting it to be true, right? But, with an aspect like this, you want to just both be very honest with each other. What are your intentions for this relationship? Does one person want it to just be sex and one person want a relationship? That's a Mars-Neptune theme. You need to be straight up. You need to vocalize what are you wanting from this, right? And then you need to tell the truth, right? And with all types of like contracts or actions together, business dealings together, you just want to be very clear, and you want to look at the rest of the synastry and not just base your actions or your commitments on how you feel in this moment. Like, make sure you really have something real here, because this one, it can drug you and it can be the best high of your life. But is it really worth it? Is there, other aspects that will show that this is like really the one? Then you're lucky. You're really lucky that you get to have this type of romance and sex that is otherworldly with your dream perfect person. You got to just be clear, be sure with Mars Neptune. But this one, it's a bit better than the others, perhaps. It's interesting. The opposition tends to heighten everything. So the highs are the highest and the lows are potentially the lowest. But with this one, yeah, it still can be quite destabilizing, right? It's still like you might be drugged, you want to be clear. But it can tend to work out a bit better. It's just as far as I've seen. And in long-term couples that just really stay attracted to each other over time. But you want to look at what houses, this is falling in. Like, that's going to be where we need to be clear on things. What else? Yeah, the level of creative action here that can conspire is quite high. You can really, with all Mars Neptune aspects, something that can be channeled through here is like divine inspiration, spiritual action, right? So if you're combining energies in, other ways besides physical intimacy, you can combine your energies towards something beautiful, something magical when you have this opposition. So that would be my advice also, is to expand that and use this energy for works of art, or Neptune to Mars, like the higher expression of Neptune to Mars is going to be spiritual actions, or actions toward something that is going to serve all, right? Like, so you could work together really well on some sort of creative pursuit that is going to help heal or help others. So um yeah, that's my description. This one is probably pretty common in romantic relationships, affairs, relationships that begin suddenly and make people feel like they're on drugs or in a daze, right? Because that's what it can feel like. So, yeah, it's very interesting what can manifest with one like this. So, I'd love to know your experience of this aspect. If you've had it, was it like this? Was it not like this? Let me know in the comments, you guys. And thank you for your requests. Keep them coming. And love you guys. We'll talk soon. Bye.